Hi everyone. We're here at the giant statue. You might notice a large diamond cut out right here. You see this very large diamond with a little spot in the middle of it. There's something really interesting that I want to show you guys. But first I wanted you guys to know that I was cleaning off this statue, and it's quite an experience washing it off. And what this thing is actually a gold sleuth, what it seems like. I'll show you that in a later video. But today I'm digging out these. You see how these are all carved in sections? These are all for human images. As we tilt this and turn it, you guys are going to see tons of faces facing at us, facing away in different directions. You can see how all those ridges are actually eyes. And as I'm cleaning one of them out, I notice that there's some rocks in there, and I know to take a minute before just throwing these things away. And believe it or not, I found my first point. It's a micro point. It is the tiniest little point that you could ever find. And if I drop it, I'll never find it again. But it is a beautiful one. It's put there with a small little, geez, it's so small I can't even really show it accurately. But it's put there with a small little bird effigy. Try to keep it in focus for us, guys. Sorry about that. It's so thin and so fragile, I don't want to break it. But it is a beautiful point. See, that's the base. It's just the tiniest little arrowhead. Ooh, look at that thing. Anyway, the reason why I can find these things is because I know in these statues that no one can recognize, I know that in the eyes of them, there's precious gems and things. What this is a crystal or a pearl bird head. You can see the way it glistens, and you can see the small little carvings on it. I'm not sure what kind of material it is made out of, but it's gorgeous. Oh my God. Look at the red beak on it on the right-hand side. So now that I'm pulling out actual treasure, do you guys see this beautiful bird effigy represented? Look at the golden color on it and everything. Holy smokes. Well, now that I'm pulling out, that looks like gold. It must be gold. It's shining like it is. We'll have to wash that out and check it out. But now that I got to check the rest of that hole out. We can do that live together, but there's some really great defined eyes that you guys can see coming out in this gigantic statue. This one might be the one, guys. As you can tell, I'm a little speechless. I'm also a little out of breath because I've been cleaning. But this, I think, is it, to be honest. After I've looked at this and have been washing it and working at it, working with it, I can see that we're going to be able to pretty much, show the evidence for this during, the series about this. So I'm really excited for it. It's going to be pretty nifty. So I can tell you a little bit about what I've learned so far about it. You can see all the lines coming out. Kind of follow the lines to different things. You'll start to see some different engravings now that there's water on it. And what I want to show you from down here is that all these lines represent bird heads facing to the right. So on the very top here, we probably have a bird to the top, but there's a bird head here. You can see the diamond shaped eye, and you can see how the neck of that bird is there. There's another bird head here with the neck of it and the beak, and then there's another like duck head, looks like, here. So it's just like the heads of the birds stacked on top of each other. Might be different angles and things to make it come out a little better, but just looking at the duck here, you guys can see how the head is done there. There's so many things on here. You guys can see the large face image facing out, the way the eye is done. There's, painted in images as well, still on the very top. Images facing to the left and not just the right, but just on top of the stone. See how these portraits are coming out here. Pretty interesting. Here's a larger one. Look, I'm going to turn it to where the portrait's facing upward. You can see some of the lines and things on there. And I'll go and check this out. You can see the faces coming out here. So just looking into the middle of the stone, and then you see how there's two eyes on some of them, and then some of them are going to be one-eyed. So large face facing out to the right. You see how the dark spot, so right here is the eye. And you see how the rest of this is the hair. And the face is pointing this way, the cheekbone, the face, the chin, just facing out. Look to the left, you can see the eye carving, the pointy nose, and the chin of just the human character posted right here. Let's go ahead and put you right side up again. So you might see a bird head as well. Might see just a human with a long nose, and then as we come over here, that nose will get smaller and different images will come out and you'll be able to see them. That's pretty neat, right? Might be covering up the microphone a little bit, but got to be careful not to step on my artifacts here. And we can take a look. This is the hole where everything is at. There's probably some really tiny, what they did is they showed off and they put some really tiny arrowheads and things in here oftentimes. That little bird head that is I shouldn't have thrown out, I threw out some of it before I realized. But there's a big pocket here. I'm gonna check all the pockets now. Smells good. They always put some kind of scent in there as well. Just looking at the material that's in there, there's not a whole lot. It's lucky to get those two heavy objects. But normally you don't get arrowheads out here, and ceremonially, there we are with an arrowhead. Hey, faces in the stone, finally got an arrowhead, look at that. And I found it in a place where there are none. And that's an old one. That's not a new arrowhead. That's a tiny little, with a golden bird head. We can wash that off a little bit. Just gonna take a look at it real quick. Oh, geez. Might as well make it all in one video. Check out the way the lines came out after I cleaned this thing off. So down here you can start to see some of the other images come out. Looking pretty good, eh? Look at these beautiful carvings coming out, especially in the sun. And on the screen, you can see them a lot better. Freaking petroglyphs and markings and things all over it. See, do you see what this stuff is? Look at it, all the way across. Look at that thing. What is that thing? There's the monkey face, you guys can see. Hominid, kind of exaggerated face, but it's really coming out a whole lot better now. I'll give you a second to look at these. You see how you line them up with the different eyes and how you make the nose poke out. Let's go ahead and put you long ways like this and just look for the faces pointing upward. You see the one in the background here? The mouth, the nose, and the eye. See some other ones too, I'm sure. There's some really neat stuff on here. There's some carvings of birds, very obvious with peck marks and things on them. I guess I don't really need to show you peck marks when you have this stuff. But there are elephant heads, and it looks like a human with an elephant hat on, perhaps. Or it might be a different bird, looks like as well. You guys can see this big carving just sitting on the end here. So I can see the bird head, see the small bird head with the diamond head, or the diamond eye rather, and the recessed beak pointing backward. Looks like a duck perhaps, but who knows where the body of it is. We might have looked at that one before. There's a whole duck head. So just looking at this section, you see how the beak is right there? Little bird heads positioned all over here. Some of the main outside images of this came out really well. When we are able to put it in fisheye, I'll be able to show you. But this is a big bird man. He's got his Birdman mask on, and that's his bird nose right there, facing toward us. A lot of this is still in the water, and I cannot even imagine what is underneath this, because the way that these artifacts, these caches of bird heads and things that you guys see in the water here, everything here is a bird head. You guys can see this one just sticking out of the water. See the duck to the right with the beak and the eye socket. So what's interesting is they put these down, and then underneath them there's oftentimes very neat little treasures underneath them. I can't imagine what's underneath this one, especially if these ones are the ones that are right next to it. I mean, that's going to be neat to maybe one day see. It's a really nice one. See not just the one that we're looking at on the outside edge, but in the interior. Try to tilt it to where it's the only image there. There you go. You can see how the white eye comes out. See how the white ring for the eye, where the eye should be. There's a nice little portrait here facing to the right, of course. You can see the carvings pretty well in the sun if you look closely. That's a little head statue is what it is. It's a statue with a person with their hair. You guys see that, right? Got a mammoth on her head, looks like. With that big ol' eye, or the big, I don't know what that might be, a bird. It's a big circle there, you see there? Take a look at it from further away. There's different images. You might see a woman facing to the left, a big bird on her head. Just laid over top of her head, the whole bird. You guys see that, right? I'm trying to get a focus for us there. And get the silhouette correct, I guess. I notice that sometimes I skip it because I just know it's there. But I really need to start getting it correct for you guys. There you go. Something like that. There we go. Looking up on it a lot of times is best. You guys can see that, how the hair and where my thumb is kind of continues on. Little character in the bottom here too. Look inside of where his eye's supposed to be. You might see some lashes coming down, little lines. A soldier character. And of course the whole thing is gonna be a big bird head. Oh, this sucker's heavy. Anyway, that's a nice one. Big old duck head facing to the left. That's what the main outside image usually is. So, all right, folks. Yeah, like I was saying, might as well make this a long video to kind of cover everything at once. So, also looking at this thing, we can go ahead and do a quick demonstration if I can. So it's kind of like a sleuth the way that it's done, it has a bunch of small little drops. It's hard to show it without putting a lot of water on it. I can do it with both hands, but it takes two. But it's basically a bunch of small little areas, and I believe that it has to do with getting gold. But also, you can see down just below here, all the little birds that are carved in. See the little recessed beaks and the little triangles. Those are little bird beaks. And there's a very large bird here, you can see with the bird beak right here in the eye. Gosh, seeing through the camera really helps me see a lot better. So you guys can see the whole bird body and how the beak is separated, and look at where the eye is. You see the big spikes coming out where the eye goes. Isn't that awesome? Look at down here, you might see some petroglyphs. I just see this one crazy cool bird with the circle eye. But here we're gonna have face on face. So you're seeing this nose, the eye, the nose, the mouth, 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 and there for that one, the eye, the nose, the mouth for a bigger one. As you look at this, you'll see that there's just unbelievable stacks and rows of human faces the whole way down this. Carvings, glyphs. Might see some hominids. You can see these heads. That one's facing to the right. And then you look at them in different ways. So now that's got us facing to the right, you can see here we have a nice character that's recessed face. He's got his carved out eye, little smiley face perhaps, and this wild head. Looks like a giant bird he's got on him, big J. So I guess we can focus on the bird. This is the person in here, but the bird's beak turns into the person's eye. You can see how the rest of this is the bird's head, and that's the bird's eye. See this red section that has all these spikes and everything coming out of it? Look how beautiful that is. If you guys can see, you guys can see that, I'm sure. So we have a bird head just right here. Let's zoom out, and you can see how the human image is down below. See how the jawline is represented? And there's also different ones too. Big ones, large ones. Pretty insane, right? I'm gonna go ahead and point you guys upward again. Give you another look down here. Pretty neat, right? Yeah, we'll throw some water on here. Like right here is the reason why I know it's intentional. It's because they made these little slides where the things come down. And so when you put water on it, it's like a little water feature where the water just kind of flows everywhere. They do it nowadays, right? In hotels and things. It's just like that. Water slides around and goes everywhere. So if it's raining, I imagine it's quite a spectacle, and it's supposed to rain today. So if it does that, I'll put another video out. But for now, I just wish you guys a wonderful day. Bye-bye.